morning.
Good morning, Lily. How are you?
Good. And you?
Good. I am really good. Excited to see everybody. Good morning, Haley. Has anybody been doing it? Did anybody do anything really fun this weekend? Or not so fun and you just laid around and slept? That's really fun too, depending on your perspective. Or if you didn't do anything fun this weekend, do you have anything planned that's fun this weekend? I'm looking for like more like Christmas activities around other than we've kind of hit up some lights. We went to that Spanaway Holiday Lights, I think it's called, at that park that you can drive through. Oh, cool. That's fun, Lily. I love it when they do things like that, like little kind of get-togethers, parties, things. And we're going to talk about that today, the reason why that's so important. Oh, sweet. The park in Centralia. I wonder if that's the same one. Was that called Fantasy Lights, Nolan? Or sorry, Matthew? Oh, Nolan, that's going to be fun. Hopefully there's snow. Do you know if there's snow? Oh, hopefully there is. That always makes things fun. Yeah, for sure. I think a couple of Christmases ago we went to what's that like Bavarian town? It's called crap. Now I'm forgetting it. It's super popular. It's like I'm forgetting what it's called, but it's like a Bavarian town, Leavenworth. And it snowed, it dumped snow. So we like basically went to this golf course and I don't think we should have been there, but everything was closed and we took sleds and like sled down hills. That was super fun. Forest Park. Huh. I'll have to look at that. Cool. Thanks for the info. Amy, you went to buy things for Christmas presents. That's cool. Nice. It's always nice to get that checklist done. My gosh, we usually get started like in September. And I think this year we got started in October and my wife was like freaking out. She was like, oh my gosh, we're so behind. And I'm like, we still got 2 months. It's okay. So, all right, I'm gonna let everybody in. All right, and that marks our time. We are ready to get started. So it was super cool talking to you guys this morning, just kind of about plans either that you did or things that you got planned coming up. I think that's super fun to still kind of have some type of some type of normalcy in our life right now with all this craziness that's happening. I know one thing that's normal in Jen and I's life, my wife and I's life, is we always go to those Christmas shows every year. So I think there's one in Tacoma Dome, and then there's one at the Washington State Fairgrounds. They used to be called Puyallup Fairgrounds. And this year they were both canceled, which was a huge bummer. That was something that we always took time off from work. We always take Fridays off, and we take the day off, just the two of us, and go there and just walk around and just get in the Christmas spirit and stuff like that. So that sucks when things like that get canceled and you don't get to do your normal every year thing. But it sounds like people are going to like a lodge. I'm gonna look at that. I'm gonna go back and look. Oh, Nolan, he's going to a cabin by Mount Rainier. That sounds super fun. Going out and looking at Christmas lights, buying presents for people, all those kind of things. Those are really fun to kind of still have that normal part of your life, but even though you can't do everything you typically do. So anybody else that joined us after we were kind of talking earlier, any big plans for last weekend, that something you did or something you got planned for this weekend or even during break? Feel free to type it in the chat box, or I would love it if you unmute yourself and talk. I feel like I'm talking to a bunch of robots. Oh, Matt, is that link to those lights? Cool. I'll check that out. Lily said we start the day after Christmas, so we have spare grace throughout the year. Nice. That's always a plan for me, but then I can't keep my excitement, and I just give it to them, and I can't keep it for a surprise. So all right. Cool. Well, I hope everybody, if you didn't, if maybe you had a slow weekend or something last weekend, I hope you got some fun things planned this weekend. And again, it doesn't have to be outings, there's a lot of people. So here's the thing. When I'm talking with people, and I'm including like family members with this as well, I always say like, what did you do this weekend? Did you go out and do anything fun? But not everybody is at that point where they're comfortable doing that. For example, my dad's birthday, so let me think about it, his 67th birthday is tomorrow. So his birthday is December 9th. Just like if you have Mr. Gomez, his birthday is tomorrow as well. So if you have Mr. Gomez, or if you've had him, you're more than welcome to email him tomorrow and wish him a happy birthday. He'll be 40. He's turning the big 40. So I don't know if he wanted me to share that, but it doesn't matter. So my dad's birthday is tomorrow. So I was texting him and saying, hey, what do we want to do? Do we want to like have breakfast over at my house, and then the whole family can come over for breakfast? And, and him and my mom were just like, we're not really comfortable with doing anything. And, we don't want to get around people, and, just all the COVID stuff happened and everything. And I understand that, and I completely respect that. And so every time I was asking my dad, like, what do you want to do? I'm always like, and it's totally up to you. If you don't feel comfortable getting together, then we won't. If you do, then we will. Like, I don't want you to think just because I'm willing to, I think you should be willing to as well. So when I say I hope everybody's out doing something, having fun, doing something, that's normal from their past, holidays and things like that. I don't mean that you should, like, if you're not comfortable getting out, you shouldn't go out. That's completely your choice. But you could do fun things at home, like, a Christmas movie marathon, or, people were talking about buying Christmas presents earlier, just having like, family, like a family event time where everybody's wrapping Christmas presents or something like that together. I mean, there's things you could still do that still makes things fun. So don't think you have to go out and be amongst the people, and amongst the COVID if you're not comfortable with that. All right. And again, if you have anything to say, if you want to kind of interject something, if you want to make a comment, please unmute yourself. I love hearing from you guys. I'm going to start sharing my screen though, just so we can kind of cover what the counselors want us to cover this week. And then I will take questions. So let's go to our advisory homepage in Canvas underneath today's date. Oh, and I can also mention this while we're here. As everybody knows, Thursdays are now advisory days as well. Okay. To be honest with you, a lot of teachers were against that because we didn't want to give you guys one more thing to deal with throughout the week. But it fell on deaf ears. So the powers that be chose to have a Thursday advisory. So with that said, I thought about it, and we knew about this option, this idea might be coming up for the last couple weeks or so. And I was trying to think of a way that I can appease those people that want us to have Thursday advisories, but at the same time, make it as easy as possible on you. And we had a ton of people take advantage of this stuff last Thursday. I think there was only typically a third or maybe the half of the class is absent. And I think only a few people didn't participate at some point throughout the day and click on this stuff. So awesome job. The way we're going to do Thursday's advisories, if it wasn't clear in that email, is that it's going to be totally what they call asynchronous. It's going to be, you are coming on Canvas and you are doing this on your own time. You don't have to log in at 8:20. You can log in at 10:30 at night. It's completely up to you. But at some point on Thursday, you will find Thursday's date, which will be December 10th. So you'll scroll down here to December 10th. You'll click on it, and it'll have whatever I need you to do that day. So just start clicking. Start with the top thing, click on it. See what it has to say. If it has you do anything, do something, go to the next thing. Take a look at it. If it's got a link to a video, click on it, watch the video or something like that. But it shouldn't be a ton of things that you have to do. So make sure on Thursdays, just at some point between 12 a.m. and 11:59 p.m., you're clicking on that stuff that I have for you for that day and just checking it out, okay? Sometimes it might just be a video of me just kind of going through something because I don't really need you to do anything. Again, it all depends on what the counselors want us to do. So if they want you to do something, if they want you to participate in a discussion, that's why we had this whole group discussion thing here, because they wanted that to happen last week. So yeah, so that might look different every single week. But the thing that will look consistent is every Thursday you'll be on here on your own. We will not meet at 8:20 in the morning. All right. And again, any questions about that, just unmute yourself. So for today, it's kind of more the same, honestly, and I'm not sure why, but it is. So we're just going to re-emphasize things like, that we've talked about in the past as far as organization and, relationships and things like that. Okay. So we're just going to talk about a few things for today. Organizational tools is huge right now with admin. They feel like a lot of students are not, let me say it like this. A lot of students are struggling or doing poorly in their classes because of their lack of organization. Okay. I would highly agree with that as well. I talk to a lot of my students and I say, listen, you're failing this class because you've told me you just forget about the assignments, or you just don't have time, or you keep procrastinating, or whatever, right? These organizational tools, like we've stressed in the past, it doesn't have to be something as complicated as this. This looks, if I were to be presented with something like this first one, to me, who's not an organized person, I would give up. I'd just be like, forget it. I'm not going to try it. That's just too much work, right? And that's why I've told you guys what works for me is just a blank sheet of paper. I've got a blank piece of computer paper. I've got a huge stack of it right here on my desk. And I just keep a list of things that I have to do. I can't go into programs. If I had to open up like PowerPoint or Excel and start filling stuff in, that's too much work, right? I'm very lazy. I don't want to do that. I procrastinate already. So to keep on top of one more thing is just too much for me. Now, let me say, you might not be like me, which, a lot of people aren't. My wife would love something like this. She orders this like $100 planner every year that's personalized and customized, and she fills it out like for weeks ahead of time. I mean, she is just very, very organized, and that wouldn't work for me. It would be like me taking $100 bill and lighting it on fire. That's how much work how much I'd get from it. So it just depends on you. If something like this, these digital planners, we've talked in the past, I've been told by a teacher that there's apps on your phone. I think we've talked about that as well, that you can download the app, fill in like the assignment or the assessment date, and it'll send you reminders. Don't forget to study for English. Don't forget to do this assignment that's due today, right? Those things are cool. The app I think I might take advantage of, but something like this where I have to fill it out, that would suck for me, but that's up to you. Something as simple as just a calendar. You can Google, December of 2020 and find a calendar like this, print it off, and then you have a template to just plug in all your stuff, right? This is like super micromanaging. We talked about this, I think, last week. The last couple weeks is when we've really been focusing on these digital planners. This time manager, and you can see it right here. If you want to go back and access it from last week, you can. But it's got it looks like each half hour or hour. I think it's each hour separated. So you're planning your day out hour by hour, which again, to me, kind of seems a little much. But some people really thrive off of that. So my point, and I will be done beating this dead horse, is if you're not using some type of organizational tool, and you're struggling, let me start off with that. If you're struggling in a class and you wish you were doing better and you're not using an organizational tool, start. Okay, start with something as simple as a blank sheet of paper and listing out your assignments. Start with something like these things that they're providing you. Just please start with something to make sure that you're doing assignments when they're due. You're contacting your teacher when you need help, things like that. Okay. And again, please unmute yourself if you got any questions or if you got a comment about that. Taking care of yourself. And I think this is mentioned in the next slide. I can't remember. I don't know if you know this or not, but this time of year, is one of the highest, how can I say this? This time of year, like this holiday season, is one of the highest, I guess you could call it, like depression times, suicide times, things like that. Basically, people not being in a good place. I guess that's the best way to put it. So typically, that's the way it is every year. People, cops, counselors, people see an uptick of people having a really rough time during this time of year. Okay. So now, add on top of that, this whole COVID thing, right? Add on top of that, that you're not leaving your house, or some people aren't, right? Imagine if you just don't leave your house and you see, your mom and dad and brother, or whoever your family is. You see your grandma and grandpa every single day, and it's just the three of you, right? Day after day after day. And you're not seeing other people. You're not interacting with friends. You're not interacting with just strangers that you open doors for at Fred Meyer or whatever, right? I mean, you're not interacting with anybody. Counselors have talked with us, and they have seen a huge uptick in just depression, anxiety, things like that. Okay. So what they really want to push out to everybody this week is, please take care of yourself. Sure, academics is important, right? I don't think anybody would argue that. Academics is important. Academics teach us, being successful in school doesn't only teach us math, reading, writing. It teaches us valuable life lessons that are way more important than learning how to graph a parabola, right? Learning to meet a deadline is super important. Learning to communicate with your teacher is super important. Those are the things that I think are way more important than math, but that's just my opinion. With that said, they really want people to, of course, stick with school, stick with getting assignments done, reaching out for help, things like that, but also take care of yourself. Take time for you to do something that you see as fun, with a hobby, exercise, playing board games with your family, something like that. That's super important. So I haven't read through this, so I'm going to read through this real quick. According to the Mayo Clinic, mindfulness is a type of meditation in which you can focus on being intensely aware of what you're sensing and feeling in the moment without interpretation of judgment. Practicing mindfulness involves breathing methods, guided imagery, and other practices to relax the body and mind to help reduce stress. I think they talked about that last Thursday in our kind of asynchronous advisory session about breathing techniques, things like that, yoga, right? I have had very little introduction to that stuff. I don't think it's like, witchcraft. I think it actually works. I just haven't actually practiced any of those breathing techniques, but I've heard really good things about it. So hopefully you accessed that material last week. According to anxiety.org, anxiety is the mind and body's reaction to stressful, dangerous, or unfamiliar situations. The sense of uneasiness, distress, or dread you feel before a significant event, like public speaking maybe. A certain level of anxiety helps us stay alert and aware. So what they're saying there is anxiety, a certain level of it is super important. Think of our ancestors, right? Like back in the caveman days, if they didn't have anxiety, would they have eaten? Would they have been able to protect their family? Things like that, right? But for those suffering from an anxiety disorder, it feels far from normal. So that could just be too much anxiety. A little bit's good, too much is not good. It can be completely debilitating. So it can be basically shut you down and cause a lot of problems in your life. What they wanted to do was to give you some resources. So obviously we can't go into all these resources right now, but please, if you are interested in any of this, these breathing techniques, these resources on anxiety, please give yourself an opportunity to read through these or watch these videos, because it might just help you. You might pick something out of it that it's really useful in your life. So this is the last slide. So this is kind of what I was talking about earlier. Research is showing that people suffering from depression, anxiety, and loneliness is at an all-time high right now. Again, this time of year is typically higher than the rest of the year, but because of COVID and all these restrictions and people not going out, it's at an all-time high, like record-breaking high. Do something, anything that provides you an opportunity to interact with people. So like for example, before class started this morning, I think Lilia muted herself and was talking. Some people were chatting in the text box. Like that's interaction, right? Just a one-sided conversation from me to you, like what's happening right now, that's not interaction. You've got to talk with people. You've got to interact. You got to participate. So I would highly encourage you, if you're one of those people that might be just kind of feeling depressed, feeling down, feeling like this is sucking right now, maybe start participating in classes if you have the opportunity. Maybe start doing a FaceTime with a classmate or a friend or somebody that can work on homework with you. You know, just things like that. Those little tiny connections are going to help help everybody feel a lot better. So if that sounds like something that you're interested in, you know, I would say jump on it, you know, start interacting more, you know, start having a board game night with your family. Every Sunday night we have like family night to where we have dinner, watch a movie, play a board game, whatever. So I think those things are super important. One last reminder, they're saying advisories on Tuesday and Thursday. So Thursday's advisory will not be live. We're not going to meet like we did today. You'll just log into Canvas, click through all the material under Thursday's date. So for example, Thursday is December 10th. Just go in there, click on it, click through all the sessions or all the links or whatever there's in there, and then make sure you participate. Questions? That was a lot of information thrown at you. Okay, I'm gonna let these people in that are running late. I'm gonna check out the chat box, make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay. All right. Well, that's it. We're ending about 6 minutes early. So I'm going to hang back and talk with anybody that feels like they want to talk. If you're good to go and you want to kind of go get some time before class starts, please do so. Hope you have an awesome day, and we'll see you next Tuesday. Bye, everybody.
Have a great day.
Thanks, Haley. Bye, you too. Thanks, Lily. We'll see you.
Have a good day.
Bye, guys. Have a good weekend. Hey, guys, do you have any questions for me? Did you guys just come in? I don't remember. Logan, you got any questions? Brianna?
Yeah, I just typed in the chat my question. I said,
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So if you have some time today, you can go back and watch this video that I'm going to upload, and we kind of talk about a bunch of things, including that. But we do have advisory on Thursday. It's just not going to be live like it is today. It's going to be, I'm going to show you actually. You're just going to log into Canvas. You'll log into Canvas, and then under the advisory date, which is going to say December 10th, that's Thursday's advisory, you'll just click on it and like open it up like that, and then just click through the stuff. Like this was last Thursday's. Just click on the PowerPoint, review the PowerPoint, click on the whole group discussion, maybe participate, and then click on the resources and check them out. So it's all going to be done. It's not going to be done at 8:20 in the morning. You can do it at any point on Thursday. Does that kind of make sense?
Thank you.
Yeah. See ya.
All right. Have a nice day. Thank you.
You too. Thank you.